Governor Evers takes the first steps to legalize marijuana in Wisconsin, but just how realistic is the idea?
And new details of the Jamie Kloss case, what the man accused in her abduction was doing the day she escaped.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thank you for joining us tonight. The discussion surrounding the legalization of medical and recreational marijuana is back after an interview Governor Tony Evers gave yesterday.
But the question remains, just how realistic of an idea is it here in Wisconsin? Our Amy Reed spoke with lawmakers today. She joins us in studio with what they're saying tonight. Amy?
Well, talking with WISC-Politics.com, Evers said he will likely include a first step toward legalizing medical marijuana in his first state budget proposal. And that might be just the start. We talked with some lawmakers at the Capitol to see how this budget proposal might be received.
I, Tony Evers.
I, Tony Evers.
Governor Tony Evers is making his first move since inauguration on one of his campaign positions, the legalization of medical marijuana. In an interview Tuesday, Evers said he will likely include a first step toward doing so in his first state budget proposal, and full legalization could be on the way too.
What I can do right now is influence state policy.
This news was refreshing to Representative Melissa Sargent, who, as posters in her office suggest, supports full legalization. She said it's something the people want.
At the end of the day, people are using marijuana in our communities. And by embracing this piece of legislation, we're actually trying to make our state be a safer place.
She said right now people who use marijuana in Wisconsin are getting it on the black market, which could mean it has other drugs laced in, like fentanyl. She also said the law is not applied evenly in regards to race, with far more people of color being arrested for possession of the controlled substance. Because of this, she's introduced bills in the last 3 sessions aiming to make marijuana legal.
Having a governor and an attorney general that aren't afraid to have this conversation and, quite frankly, see the dangers of prohibition is refreshing.
That view is not shared universally across the aisle. While some Republicans have voiced support for legalizing medical marijuana, there's not broad support for recreational.
Yeah, it was good to have a joint caucus.
Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald addressed this in a press conference Tuesday.
I still don't believe the support's there within the Senate caucus to move in that direction.
Greg Kinsley with Wisconsin Normal said this isn't the type of thinking Republicans should have. He said he uses marijuana to help relieve pain from Crohn's disease, and he wants other people to have his same access.
It took me about 12 years to convince my doctor that it is something that helps me. The recourse of not having it is not very pretty, and I'm not the only one that has this disease.
In November, this issue was on the ballot as advisory referendums in 16 counties, and they all passed. And Evers said it would take another statewide referendum to get recreational marijuana passed.
Amy Reed reporting tonight. Amy, thank you. We are learning more about the man suspected of kidnapping Jamie Kloss and killing her parents. Jake Patterson applied for a job at a liquor company in Superior the day Kloss escaped from his home on January 10th. In the skills section of the application, he wrote, quote, "I'm an honest and hardworking guy. Not much work experience, but I show up to work and am a quick learner," end quote. Authorities say he confessed to kidnapping Jamie after killing her parents on October 15th. Patterson is being held on $5 million bail, facing charges of intentional homicide, kidnapping, and armed burglary. In the meantime, Patterson's father says he wants to deliver a letter to Jamie's family. CNN says Patrick Patterson was at the Barron County Justice Center yesterday, hoping to pass along a note to the Kloss family. He didn't share any details, but says he's thinking of the family during their difficult time. No word on whether he was able to deliver that letter yet.
A Dane County jury has returned a guilty verdict in the murder trial against Daniel Leeske. He was charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the death of a 21-year-old Jesse Faber of Sun Prairie. Prosecutors say the 60-year-old Leeske shot Faber 5 times, then hid his body in a storage unit in Rio with the help of Leeske's fiancée, Michelle Goss. Both Leeske and Goss pleaded guilty to that charge. For Faber's family, the verdict gave them a sense of justice.
My son is not a murderer. He was a sweet, sweet boy who didn't deserve this. Nobody deserves that. Nobody. That evil, evil man is done. He is going away. Hopefully forever. Sweet justice. Sweet justice.
Love you, Jess.
Sweet justice.
Leeske faces life in prison for that conviction, plus 12 years for hiding Faber's body. Day 2 in the search for a Middleton man accused of murder. Authorities looking for 68-year-old Robert Pulvermacher. He's accused of the death of an 80-year-old man who was found in the parking lot at Ho Chunk Casino in the town of Delton Monday. Pulvermacher has an extensive criminal past here in Wisconsin. He's been guilty of multiple burglary charges and false imprisonment. If you see him, you're asked to call 911.
New tonight at 10, police in Monona are reaching out to the public to try and identify this man. They say he robbed the Papa Murphy's on East Broadway around 7:30 tonight. The robber allegedly threatened an employee and demanded he give him all of the money. No customers were in the restaurant at the time. Anyone with information should call Monona Police. And police are also asking for help locating 2 missing boys. 11-year-old Dominic Hale has been missing since this morning. There is some concern for his welfare since he has a medical condition. Well, tonight, police believe he may be with another missing child, 14-year-old Charles Fleming. They say there is no reason to believe either is the victim of foul play.
Turning things over to weather now, there is a chance for some accumulating snow by the weekend, prompting an alert day. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolfi on the backyard patio with our first alert forecast. Gary?
Actually, we have a couple of alert days in the forecast beginning Friday night and lasting into Saturday and Sunday, not only for the accumulating snow, but for the cold that will follow. So alert day goes in Friday night for several inches of snow accumulation. Heaviest amounts down toward the Illinois state line, maybe 3 or 4 inches there, an inch or 2 from Madison northward. The snow will gradually end after some additional minor accumulation Saturday morning, and then temperatures will drop so that by Sunday, low temperatures will be around 0, and wind chills could be as cold as 20 below 0. Tonight, some light snow and flurries pushing through Minnesota and Iowa. As it reaches southern Wisconsin, we could see some flurries or some freezing drizzle tomorrow morning. Right now, not very much snow on the ground over southern Wisconsin, but that will change. You can see the snow potential from one of the computer models showing about 1/10 of an inch of snow, but other computer models are showing as much as about 4 or 5 inches. And even on this model, you can see Dubuque, Iowa at 6 inches, so a very sharp cutoff on the northern edge of the snow. I'll have more details in weather in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Gary. The Wisconsin DNR says an invasive vine is moving into 2 Madison neighborhoods. The porcelain berry vine has been found on hundreds of properties in the Crestwood and Spring Harbor neighborhoods. They say it is the largest known population of this plant in Wisconsin. The vine has been banned in the state since 2009. 2018 was the hottest year on record for the Earth's oceans, according to a study published today in the journal Advances in Atmospheric Sciences. Last year's high broke the previous record set the year prior. The same group of researchers released a study last week showing the oceans are warming faster than previously thought.
Another Madison West High School teacher is off the job after using a racial slur at school. West Principal Karen Boren said in a letter to parents this afternoon that a substitute teacher is banned from teaching at the district after using a slur around a student this week. 3 other teachers, one at Madison East and one at Madison West and one at Hamilton Middle School, were removed in November after they reportedly used racial slurs. Teachers in Los Angeles are off the job for a 3rd day. An estimated 32,000 teachers and staff members went on strike starting Monday. They want better pay, smaller class sizes, and more counselors and nurses in over 1,000 schools. The teachers union and the LA School District have been unable to agree for months on funding, prompting the union to call for action. Schools have not been closed during the strike.
President Trump signs a bill into law this afternoon authorizing back pay for government employees forced to work without pay during the government shutdown. Now, this comes as Democrats suggested the president delay his State of the Union address if the government won't reopen, citing a strain on security. Today, the White House says the president had a constructive meeting with a bipartisan group from the House, but the 2 sides did not reach a solution on border security. And workers at Wisconsin's only federal prison are asking the public to call Congress to urge them to end the shutdown. All of Oxford's federal employees have been without pay now since December 22nd, with no idea when they'll be paid again. Tim Viget and Mel Klitsky are among them.
Right now, I'm surviving, but if I miss another paycheck, I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
But when you got worries at home, wondering how you're going to pay for bills, take care of your family, it's only human that transfers when you come inside working in these walls.
And they say the government has provided them with no way to access their earned income. He says he has encountered creditors that don't even know the shutdown is happening.
A Wisconsin musical organization is reaching out to local furloughed federal workers during this shutdown. The Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra is offering those workers free tickets for its January 25th Masterworks performance. The concert will be held at the Capitol Theater at Overture Hall at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are first come, first served and limited to 2 per person. The Pentagon has confirmed 2 U.S. troops are among those killed in an ISIS attack in northern Syria. The explosion was captured on surveillance video. A civilian and contractor with the Department of Defense were also killed. The attack came less than a month after President Trump declared victory against ISIS in Syria and said roughly 2,000 U.S. forces stationed there were coming home.
American Family Children's Hospital making sure car seats are properly secured. This is the first weekly Safe Kids event since that disturbing video out of Minnesota went viral. In it, a child in a car seat is thrown from a vehicle while it's moving. The child, amazingly, was not injured. While Safe Kids says they didn't receive any increases of requests for checks since that video, they say they always have a steady stream of calls, and of the car seats they do inspect in Dane County, 90% are not properly secured.
Car crashes are one of the #1 causes of injury and death in children under the age of 12. It only takes 30 minutes of your time to ensure that, and peace of mind to ensure that your children are traveling as safe as possible.
And Safe Checks does free checks of car seats by appointment. They also provide car seats to low-income families. Still ahead, some recognition tonight for a Wisconsin-based company, while another one files for bankruptcy.
And Sears will be sticking around, at least for the time being. The deal that saved the company is next. Gas prices are up for the first time since October, and AAA says that's likely going to continue for the foreseeable future. You can still find gas around the $2 mark here in Madison, but it might be the last time you fill up that cheap all year. They say the price of crude oil has been slowly but steadily increasing since the beginning of the year, and there has been a sizable build in U.S. gasoline stocks, but only a small increase in demand. Wisconsin-based Quick Trip has been ranked the best gas station franchise in the country. According to the report, Quick Trip received the highest ratings and reviews in 4 of the 6 categories: cleanliness, outdoor lighting, restrooms, and overall experience. Other regional franchises making the top 10, Minnesota-based Cenex and Holiday Stations.
Leaders in Walworth County are hopeful they're getting closer to making a major upgrade to Highway 12. They say the 2-lane highway is too narrow. That could turn businesses away, also dangerous to drivers. Whitewater City Manager Cameron Clapper says the first part of the upgrade process would require the state to conduct an environmental impact study.
Getting us on the schedule and getting us in the minds and in the sight of legislators and Department of Transportation leadership. In order to make that happen, we really need to have this environmental impact study done. Without that, we can't even get started. It's the first step.
Clapper says he's confident with the new state legislation that a study could be done as soon as next summer. Wisconsin-based Shopko has officially filed for bankruptcy. According to a press release, the company has filed voluntary petitions for a court-supervised financial restructuring under Chapter 11 of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code. In December, Shopko announced it was closing 39 stores in 19 states. Last week, 6 more stores were added to the list. The company said the bankruptcy will provide a path forward and will rebuild the store into a profitable business again.
After more than a decade of declining sales, Sears may now have one last chance to turn the tide. Today, the company's billionaire chairman, Eddie Lampert, worked out a deal to keep hundreds of stores open. He won a bankruptcy auction with a bid of more than $5 billion. The hedge fund manager was the only buyer, with plans to keep the company alive rather than liquidate the chain altogether. But analysts say the company is still facing an uphill battle.
That whole sector is obviously coming up against a lot of problems, right? Amazon is at a level that it's wiping out so much of that.
Founded more than 130 years ago, Sears was once the nation's largest retailer with 4,000 stores and devoted shoppers across the country.
My old Craftsman snowblower continues to sit idle in my garage, but Gary, could we see some action by the weekend when it comes to snowfall?
Don't put the jinx on it, okay? Because I have one too, and so I need to make sure that that's working, because we probably will need it at some point over the next few days. We have alert days in the forecast for Friday night into Saturday and Sunday for several inches of snow accumulation. I think it'll probably be enough from Madison southward that you might need the snowblower. North of Madison, maybe just a light shovel, because it looks like the lighter amounts will be up there. As the snow winds down on Saturday, temperatures will turn colder, and by Sunday morning, look for low temperatures around 0 with wind chills from -10 to -20. So it's a combination of the cold, the snow, and the cold that will follow. Doppler track tonight shows some flurries out to the west across Minnesota and Iowa. There might be a little freezing drizzle mixed in by the time it reaches southern Wisconsin tomorrow morning. Now, the snow potential from the computer models, the local RPM model that we use for much of our day-to-day forecasting, has even backed off on the snow totals north of Madison with very little falling there. This is through 6 p.m. Saturday. But notice down by Dubuque, Iowa, southern portions of Grant County, they have as much as 6 inches of snow. So a very sharp cutoff on the northern end of that snow to the south. Generally about a 4 to 7 inch snowfall expected through much of Iowa and Illinois. European computer model, not as much to the south, but a little broader area of snow with about 1.5 inches here in Madison, about 2.5 inches in Milwaukee. And this area of snow will be the first round of a couple of storms. Another storm in the Monday, Tuesday, and late Monday into Tuesday and Wednesday timeframe could bring several inches of additional snowfall, so that by the end of next week, we could be looking at an additional maybe 2 to 5 inches of snow over much of southern Wisconsin, with some heavier amounts down toward the Illinois state line. The GFS computer model, the U.S. day-to-day forecasting model, a little more aggressive with the snow from Friday night into Saturday, showing about 4 inches in Madison, about 6 inches down toward the Illinois state line. So an even broader area of snow with the heaviest amounts out to the west. Look what happens, though, with the storms that follow. One in the Monday, Tuesday time frame. That could be bringing several inches of snow. So that starts Monday. And notice that would bring perhaps another 4 to 6 inches of snow, maybe even a little bit more, according to that computer model. And then a second storm system toward Thursday and Friday that could bring additional snow accumulation. So this is not all one big storm, but this shows that by the end of the week, next week, there could be a lot of snow on the ground if this model turns out to be correct. right now, this is the model that we're kind of staying away from at this point. But the storm in the Friday, Saturday time frame, you can see the snow steadily moving eastward during the day on Saturday and then pulling on out of here. Then it's the cold northerly winds that kick in as we head into Sunday and beyond. So 20 for the overnight low temperature. We've already been down about that cold. Then temperatures will rise through the 20s. The skies turn mostly cloudy. Tomorrow high of 32 with some flurries or maybe a little freezing drizzle in the morning. As we look at future track, you can see those temperatures fluctuating in the low to mid 20s overnight. Then that flurry and freezing drizzle activity moves through tomorrow. High temperatures in the low 30s. A little bit of clearing tomorrow night, allowing temperatures to drop into the teens. Clouds come back on Friday. The snow arrives late in the day. High temperatures will be in the middle 20s. Snowfall amounts, we're thinking about 2 to 4 inches from Madison southward, 1 to 2 inches to the north. Heaviest amounts down across northern Illinois. 7 to 10 day forecast. Those temperatures drop in the wake of the snow. Look for high temperatures by Saturday and Sunday to generally be in the middle 20s or in the middle teens, and nighttime low temperatures to be around 0, and then some more snow chances as we head toward the middle of next week. So something to watch as we head into next week, but definitely winter is on the way back.
All right, Gary, thank you.
Sure.
Former Badger quarterback Darrell Bevell back in the NFL. We'll tell you where. The story coming up in sports.
Darrell Bevell has a new job. The former Badger quarterback who led Wisconsin to its first Rose Bowl win in 1994 is the new offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Bevell has been Seattle's OC before he was fired a year ago. Bevell was also offensive coordinator for the Vikings for 5 seasons before that. Also today, the Packers officially announced Nathaniel Hackett as their offensive coordinator. New Packers head coach Matt LaFleur still has quite a few spots on his coaching staff to fill, but he should get that done soon. LaFleur worked for Rams head coach Sean McVay. The 32-year-old McVay says he wouldn't be surprised if LaFleur gets the Packers going again.
He's a great football coach. Got a great understanding from offensive football. Really a very, he's just such a great guy where he cares about people. He's going to be honest with his communication, and then he's going to be invested in working really hard and trying to help put guys in good spots. It's an exciting thing for the Packers and for Matt for sure.
Former Alabama quarterback Jalen Hurts is transferring to Oklahoma. As a graduate transfer, Hurts can play next season like Russell Wilson did at Wisconsin back in 2011. With Kyler Murray going pro, Jalen Hurts fills the void at Oklahoma for next season. Badger men's hockey has Notre Dame this week. Friday night's games at the Kohl Center, then the series moves to United Center in Chicago for Game 2 Sunday night. That'll be the second straight year the Badgers and Irish have played a game at the home of the NHL's Chicago Blackhawks. Wisconsin won last year's game 5-0, and head coach Tony Granato hopes that happens again.
Anytime your players get a chance to play in an NHL building, especially like you said, we got a lot of guys from the area, the Wisconsin kids, the Illinois kids, obviously to play in the building that the Blackhawks play in is exciting for them. Last year was our first year of doing it, and it was a great event as far as the enthusiasm in the building and having, kind of right in between Notre Dame and Wisconsin. I think the atmosphere was what we were looking for.
The top-ranked Badger women's hockey team plays at second-ranked Minnesota this weekend. Even though they're 20-2 this year, the Badgers say they face plenty of adversity. Now, getting through the tough times makes Wisconsin better prepared for a tough road trip to Minneapolis.
That adversity is something that's really exciting for me because my first couple of years, we kind of sailed through, and it wasn't easy, but it felt like we were always the better team. We were always on top. We were always doing what we were supposed to. And when we did have to face some challenges late in the season, it was kind of the first time some of us had seen that, and it was tough on the team. But I feel like this year when we have had a little bit of adversity, we've had people out, we've had to play against great teams and teams that are hot and goalies that are hot. So that's definitely something that's an advantage for our team.
Prep Mania Game of the Week tomorrow night. We'll have boys hockey, Edgewood and Sun Prairie. 7:45 face-off tomorrow night. Brof and I live on channel3000.com. And the Bucks are at Memphis tonight. They're losing in the third quarter until they go on a 19-0 run. Eric Bledsoe to Chris Middleton to finish this break. Giannis has 27 points, 11 rebounds. Final score, Bucks 111. And the Grizzlies 101 with Toronto's loss. The Bucks move into first place in the East. And we'll be right back.
Gary's here with the final check of your forecast.
We have alert days in the forecast from Friday night into Saturday and Sunday. First for accumulating snow and then for the cold. Snow totals expected. This is again Friday night into Saturday afternoon. About an inch or two north of Dane County, about 2 to 4 inches from Madison southward, maybe 4 inches or more down toward the Illinois state line. Right now temperatures in the low 20s. Might see some flurries or freezing drizzle by tomorrow morning. But after the snow, the temperatures drop into the teens for Sunday and Monday. Some more snow midweek and some more cold at the end of next week.
Gary, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you here tomorrow.